That's 1092, that's a body. Yeah, it's panic. Yep. We got a female body. We have a female body.
And I just want to let you know that we have found the body.
Are you passed out? Can you get me some help? Can you get me some help? Can you get me
Detectives.
That's the cry of a mother who is hurt past what words can describe, a mother whose joy has just been snatched away from her. This is the story of Britney Ujlaky. As you are here, I'm asking you to do more than watch. Help keep this case alive. Before we go any further, subscribe and turn on notifications, because it's the fastest way to make sure Britney's story reaches more eyes. Eyes that might recognize a name, remember a truck, or connect a detail that's been sitting in someone's mind for years. Stay with me to the end, and if anything in this story feels familiar, say something in the comment section. Because silence is where cases like this disappear. In the wide open spaces of northeastern Nevada, life moves slower than the rest of the world. Here, towns are small, everyone knows your name, and strangers are rare. This is Elko County, a place of dusty highways, horses, rodeos, and families that have lived here for generations. For 16-year-old Britney Ujlaky, this was home. She grew up around horses, open fields, and quiet evenings. Her world wasn't loud or chaotic. It was steady, predictable, safe. Britney loved riding more than anything. It was where she felt most herself, free, confident, in control. When she was on a horse, nothing else mattered. Her father, Tom Ujlaky, knew that. The two of them shared a bond that went beyond just parent and child. They were close, protective of each other. Britney trusted him completely, and he trusted her. She wasn't reckless. She wasn't a troublemaker. She had dreams. Britney wanted to join the Navy. She talked about traveling, seeing the world, and building a future that reached far beyond this small town. To her family, she was focused, responsible, and full of potential. On Sundays, life followed a familiar rhythm. Britney would ride her horse. Tom would run errands or work around the house. They'd check in with each other. Everything was normal. There was nothing unusual about that Sunday. Nothing that hinted it would be the last ordinary day of Britney's life. She had plans. She had somewhere to be, and she told her father she'd be back soon. Just one quick trip, one ride, one last moment of routine. She promised she would beat him home. And for a while, it looked like she would. Sunday, March 8th, 2020, doesn't begin with alarms or warning signs. It begins with routine. In Elko County, that usually means familiar places, familiar people, and a day that follows the same pattern as dozens before it. For Britney's dad, Jim, the day includes something ordinary: band practice. It's not unusual, it's scheduled, it's part of life. And while he's away, Britney is doing what many teenagers do when they're home and bored. She's on her phone, talking to friends, scrolling, sending messages. Nothing that looks like danger from the outside. At some point, Britney tells her dad she's stepping out because Bryce is coming to pick her up. It's framed like a simple plan. Hang out for a bit, then return. Before she leaves, she says something that sounds playful and harmless in the moment. She tells him she'll get back before he does, that she'll beat him home. In a place like Spring Creek, relationships don't form in secret. People grow up around the same schools, the same hangouts, the same rodeo weekends, the same families. Britney and Bryce moved in those same circles for years, and over time, their names became linked the way small-town friendships usually do, by repetition and proximity. To Britney, Bryce was the kind of friend who was simply there. Someone she could text when she wanted to get out of the house. Someone she could ride around with and talk to when she was bored. Someone she already knew well enough that getting into his truck didn't feel risky. It felt routine. To her family, Bryce also came across as safe. He was known, familiar, the kind of friend a parent assumes will look out for their kid. Make sure she gets back on time, make sure she's okay, make sure she doesn't end up somewhere alone. When Britney told her dad Bryce was picking her up, it didn't trigger alarms. It didn't sound like she was meeting a stranger. It sounded like a normal teenage plan, one she'd made before, with someone the family recognized. For the first few hours, nothing feels like an emergency. Britney left with someone familiar. She'd done that before. She'd be back soon. Jim finishes band practice and pulls into the driveway around 7:30 p.m. He walks inside expecting the usual sounds, movement, a voice, a door opening. Instead, it's still. He checks the house. No Britney. He calls her phone. Straight to voicemail. That's when Jim reaches out to Alicia, not to panic her, just to confirm the obvious. Have you heard from her? Do you know where she is? Alicia tries Britney's phone too, voicemail, again. And that's the moment the feeling changes, because Britney wasn't the kind of kid who accidentally lost her phone. She kept it on, she answered, she checked in. Alicia calls James her brother. James hasn't heard from Britney either. At first he tries to calm it down. Maybe she went to a party, maybe her phone died, maybe it's nothing. But Alicia doesn't sit in maybes. She gives James one job, find Bryce. James texts him, simple, direct. Where's Britney? A reply comes back. And it doesn't solve anything. It just creates a new question. Bryce says he dropped Britney off at Spring Creek High School earlier that afternoon. James asks the next question any brother would ask. Who did you drop her off with? And that's where the story shifts, because Bryce can't give them a name, only an image. A detail you can't stop thinking about. A cowboy-looking guy. And an older green Ford F-150. Now the family has something. But it's not comfort. It's a single lead, a truck, a description, a gap in time. Jim reaches out to the sheriff's office. But like a lot of families in the first hours, they hesitate. They keep calling friends. They keep checking. They keep hoping someone will say, oh yeah, she's right here. That night, Jim doesn't sleep. And by morning, the hesitation is gone. He tells Alicia, call the police, file the report. Because whatever this is now, it isn't normal anymore. Later, Bryce explains that Britney had been reaching out to him earlier, and they arranged to meet while Jim was at band practice. He describes picking her up and spending time driving around and talking in the Spring Creek area, nothing that would stand out on a normal day in a small town. Then, Bryce says he needed to head back because of a call from his father. Before he leaves Britney, he claims she asks to be dropped somewhere specific, Spring Creek High School. And he says the reason she wanted to go there was because she was planning to meet someone he didn't really know, someone she referred to as a new friend. When the family starts trying to work out what happened, a key detail emerges from Bryce's story. He says he left Britney at the high school at roughly 4 p.m. And then he gives a description that becomes the case's first big anchor, a tall white male with a cowboy-style look, and an older green Ford F-150 linked to that person. It's not a full name. It's not a plate number. It's not a confirmed identity. But early on, it's the only direction anyone has. Now the house is empty of her. And the only thing louder than the worry is the clock. By the end of the night, the family has done what every family does first, calling, checking, waiting, hoping. And the only lead they can point to is the same one Bryce gave them, a tall, white, cowboy-looking guy, and an older green Ford F-150. Early the next day, the officers visited Alicia, Britney's mom.
Is it son or daughter?
Yeah.
Okay. What is daughter's name?
Brittany, I'm gonna get a picture. Her friend that had her. I talked to him. He dropped her off at the high school down here at 4 o'clock with some guy. And I go, what guy? And he goes, I don't know. She just said my new friend. Tall, white, cowboy-looking guy with a green truck. And now we can find her. None of her friends. Her phone's not on.
Okay.
I don't know where it is.
Has she ever did this before?
No.
Done this before?
And even when she does go out and do dumb things, we get a call with some crazy kind of excuse. You know, and I'm trying to get her out of trouble. Nothing. Not a friend. None of her friends are best friends. Nobody can find her.
Okay. I need you to take a seat because there's some important information that I need from you, okay?
Okay.
So I know you're upset right now, but this is all important stuff that's going to help me put something in the dispatch so that we can let everybody know that she's hasn't came home and nobody's talked to her, okay?
Okay.
That way if anybody has contact with her, they can, they'll know right away and then law enforcement will take her into custody at that time, okay? Okay, I have a pen right here, you can use that. And as you're filling that out, I'll just talk to you a little bit. So yesterday, have you guys tried calling any of her friends or?
Everybody.
Nobody's heard from her?
No.
Okay.
Which is weird, because she's a social media freak. You know what I mean? She's always talking to people. Yesterday and the last few days, we've been in a really good lull. I talked to her FaceTime for an hour at like 1:30. Everything was just fine. She was just happy-go-lucky. Everything was good.
And all we know is that it was a green truck. We know nothing else about the individual.
No, the boy said it was an ugly green F-150 from the early 2000s.
Is there any other friends that were with Bryce, or it was just Bryce?
But it was just Bryce.
And she was with him, and then he dropped her off, and he had no idea who this guy was.
No, he even said it seemed sketchy. And I'm like, why can you leave her? Why can you leave her?
Hey, man, what's your name?
James.
James. Do any of you guys have access to her social media accounts?
I don't. I've had her friends pouring through them, and her last post was at like 5:30 last night.
Did Bryce happen to mention if it was in Nevada license plate?
Did you see that much?
No, I didn't see anything about this truck. He said he was a pretty good distance away from it.
So he dropped her off and then she walked quite a ways. She didn't want to just pull up to the vehicle. Her request was to stop away from the vehicle so she could walk.
He said he dropped her off right in front of the school, and then she walked in the parking lot.
Okay. He described the green as being like a, what color green?
A darker green. And he said it was like one of the really ugly, like early 2000s, he said.
Ford F-150.
Yeah.
Her best friend
And his name was Bryce, right?
said that she's been talking to a guy named JT. She said she doesn't know anymore. She just keeps calling him JT. She goes, has anybody talks to a guy named JT? I know they've been talking a lot lately.
What's Bryce's last name?
Dickie.
I'll try to do some follow-up calls, talk to some of these people. I'm not sure if I'm going to get any more information than you guys have got. And unfortunately, all we have is a green truck. That's a Ford with somebody that nobody knows who this guy is.
Yeah.
Do we even know what this guy looked like? Did you give any description of the guy?
He said he was a tall, white cowboy.
Why would he call him a cowboy? Was he dressed like a cowboy? I'm gonna go get this put in. I'll let you know as soon as this is put in. Like I said, if she has contact any law enforcement once this is put in, then they'll take her into custody and we'll contact you, let you know that we have your daughter. I'll also call you back and let you know what my supervisor says, what the next course of action is gonna be, okay? Okay, if you guys hear anything, I'm gonna give you my card. Make sure you call and let me know so that I'm still in the loop of what's going on, okay?
By now, this isn't just a worried family calling friends. It's an entire county running on one description, one vehicle, and one frightening question. Where did Britney go after that drop-off? Investigators push the only tools they have. A press release goes out. Deputies start chasing the lead everyone can picture in their head. A green Ford F-150. At the same time, they try something else, Britney's phone. Dispatch is asked to ping it, because if she's in danger, minutes matter. The ping hits Boyd Kennedy Road, and that single data point turns into boots on the ground. Deputies searching, sweeping, checking, trying to make the map match the story. But law enforcement isn't the only force moving. Family, friends, classmates, people who've known Britney for years start doing what small towns do when something feels wrong. They mobilize. Search areas grow, conversations turn into plans turn into search parties, and the obsession solidifies. Not a suspect, not a name, a truck. The whole town is looking for that green F-150, the kind of detail viewers can't stop replaying. 36 hours after Britney disappears, her mom, Alicia, does what parents do when waiting becomes unbearable. She turns panic into action. Flyers, hundreds of them, 540 printed and posted across Elko and Spring Creek. Facebook posts spread the same message again and again. If you know anything, say something. A tip line is set up, and it doesn't slow down. Calls are coming in every couple of minutes. Investigators sort, filter, chase dead ends, and try to find the one tip that's real. Then, just when the town is running on hope and adrenaline, the story takes a hard turn. As the search expands and the tip line keeps ringing, the family is living minute to minute, because in cases like this, anything can be the break. And then, late on March 10th, Alicia's phone lights up with a message from a number she doesn't recognize. "We have Britney." The message isn't vague, it's a demand. The sender claims Britney is being held, and if Alicia doesn't pay $7,000, Britney will be killed. They even add a chilling detail, saying Britney is sick from drugs used to sedate her, and that time is running out. For a parent, that kind of message doesn't feel like a scam at the moment. It feels like a countdown. Alicia immediately tells detectives, and this is where the case takes a sharp, tense turn. The detective told her not to respond yet. Not until we can trace it. Deputy ushers her into an interview room while specialists start analyzing her phone, trying to pull a location, a carrier trace, anything that can point to where the messages came from. For a brief window, the entire story tilts, because if the ransom texts are real, then Britney might still be alive. And the green truck lead might not be the only lead anymore. But the details inside the messages start raising red flags. The kidnappers aren't asking for a wire transfer. They aren't asking for cash. They're asking for gift cards. And detectives have seen that pattern before. Investigators trace the number and discover it's a spoofed number, one that doesn't actually originate where it claims to. It isn't local, and it isn't even coming from Nevada. That's when detectives deliver the gutting truth. The ransom demands are not credible. They explain how it likely happened. Alicia had posted her personal phone number publicly in the desperate push to find Britney. And someone exploited that moment of vulnerability to run a gift card scam. So, the family is forced to absorb two realities at once. The ransom texts were a lie. Britney is still missing, exactly as before. And the worst part, is what the scam does to the case. It steals time, it spikes fear, and it drags investigators into a false emergency, right when every second matters. Alicia came in thinking the texts might mean her daughter was alive. Now, detectives aren't just chasing a cowboy and a green truck. They're asking a harder question. What if the only lead they've been given was never the truth? Because once investigators start digging into Bryce's story, they don't just want the description. They want the exact spot. They want the exact sequence. They want to know whether Bryce actually saw what he says he saw, Britney walking toward that green F-150, and the truck pulling out right after. And that's why, soon, a supervisor will ask Bryce to meet at the high school so he can walk them through it, step by step, in the very place where Britney was last reported to be. Because in this case, the only lead they have is a truck. And they're about to find out whether that lead is real, or whether it was the first lie.
Visualize what happened.
Good. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
So, can you tell me run me through it so I can understand what's going on?
Alright, so Sunday, around 11, I started texting. Got a few texts from Britney, just asked if I wanted to hang out. Said sure, got ready and stuff. Told me she could meet me at the park because she said Dad was doing band practice. And then went to town, called her when I got into town on 5th, and then picked her up at 8 Park, drove around, went up towards Mountain View. Asked what she wanted to do. She had no idea, said, we just go driving in Spring Creek since we got her room over there, so we went back over the hill, just started chatting, talked about her finishing school, how school was over for me, kept driving around, and then we were over in the horsepower section, and my dad called me asking if I could come back home, so I told her I needed to go. Asked her if she wanted me to just drop her back up at Park, and she said that she wanted to me to drop her off in high school with me, friends, and said her dad was going to pick her up later, so then came over here, pulled in, went over there, gave her a hug and stuff, and then she got out, I pulled out and started heading that way, and the F-150 was over there, but I didn't know that was where she was going at that time, and then got about right towards where it opens up, and then looked back, and they were both standing outside the truck, and then I got to the turnout right over there by the middle school, and then that F-150 was in motion.
Okay. So you said what was the F-150?
Yeah, it was ones that are really ugly looking, have the like side stepping.
Like that winter green, dark forest green?
The dark forest green.
So you picked her up at 1:30. Where did you guys go? You said you were with her for how long?
Dropped her off for 4 years, that's three hours.
I'm sure that you didn't drive around for 3.5 hours. That's a waste of gas.
No, I drove around for 3 hours.
Okay. That's all you did for 3.5 hours? That's really odd. They should just drive aimlessly around.
That's what I do almost every day. I was in my Chevy.
What's your Chevy?
It's a 93 Chevy 15. Just sorry, second
Single cab or double?
Single bed.
So you just drove around? You just stopped anywhere?
No, I just got it all. Literally just kept in circles. Drove around towards the sports complex, looked back around the housing section.
I just think it's kind of odd. I think you know more than what you're telling me.
Being honest, I mean, I'm about with any of my friends who that's what we do. Most times they just drive around Spring Creek for hours.
I'm thinking you know more about Britney than what you're actually talking about. I've been doing this for a long time, and I usually can smell somebody that's leaving out something. So what are you leaving out?
I'm not leaving out anything. There's nothing.
A tip line is set up, and it doesn't slow down. Calls are coming in every couple of minutes. Investigators sort, filter, chase dead ends, and try to find the one tip that's real. Then, just when the town is running on hope and adrenaline, the story takes a hard turn. While they're still chasing that digital shadow, another call is already coming in. And it's about something found far outside town. Late on March 10th, deputies are pulled toward a remote area, Burner Basin, after local searchers report something troubling.
It looks like a human head to me.
Yeah, it looks like a chest cavity in the dark.
We walked over here on this side. I'm pretty sure that's our drag mark there.
Actually, I'll just get you guys started on. Yep. That's not good. Oh, that's a 1092. That's a body. Yeah. That's gal. Yep. I can see enough right now. Looks like a girl's hand that's back out. Yeah. Yeah. I will. I'm gonna get their vehicles out. We'll get the crime scene secured and call stake. Let's go.
All right.
Hey, now we'll process the whole thing. We got a female body. We have a female body. We don't know if it's her or what, but we have a female body out behind Burner Basin. Got drag marks and a bunch of things. So we got 2 guys that found them. We're getting their statements. I'll get a picture of their footprints that are going in and out, and I'll get a picture of their tread marks. Basically, she's face down, pants down. She's got black heels on.
First,
like
I had to notify Alicia.
Let's
We're on the phone, okay? And I just want to let you know that we have found the body.
I'm gonna pass out. Can you get me some help? Can you get me some help? Can you get me some help? Oh my God, give me some help.
Officers move carefully, directing the civilians back, telling them to stay put. and beginning the routine that always means the same thing. Statements, photos, securing an area that just became a potential crime scene. Within moments, the tone shifts from search to scene control. Deputies confirm what nobody wanted confirmed: a body has been found. And now the case changes in real time. The urgency isn't just to find Britney, it becomes something darker. Identify the victim, lock down the area, and figure out who did this before they disappear too. Back in town, Detective Stack is pulled into the worst part of the job, because before he can even get to the scene, he has to make the call that no parent survives unchanged. A body has been found. After the body is found and the case turns into a homicide investigation, detectives go back to the last place Britney was reported to be alive: Spring Creek High School. They pull what modern cases live and die on: surveillance footage. They start with nearby businesses, especially the cameras that capture the roadway and the entrances leading toward the school. Their expectation is simple: if Bryce's story is accurate, they should see evidence of that green Ford F-150, the truck he says Britney walked toward. They scrub through footage, minute by minute, angle by angle, and then the first crack appears. Instead of an older green F-150, the cameras catch something else: Bryce's own pickup. Not just parked, not just present, moving, and not in the way his story suggested. Detectives see Bryce's blue Chevy travel past the area, bypassing the entrance where he claimed he dropped Britney off, and continuing down Boyd Kennedy Road in the same general direction where Britney's body was later found. This is the betrayal reveal, because up until now, Bryce has been treated like a helpful friend who happened to be the last person with her. But surveillance doesn't care who you are. It only cares what actually happened, and what detectives are seeing on camera doesn't match what Bryce told the family. At this point, investigators make a decision. They bring Bryce in. Officially, not as a casual witness, not as a quick check-in. They tell him it's about phone data, about clarifying timestamps. But investigators are also thinking ahead. If Bryce is involved, they need to move carefully, collect what they can, and lock in his story before he changes it.
Just showing you, door's not locked. You're not locked in here, all right? Like I said, you're not under arrest. Okay. At this point, you're not even really a suspect, okay? But like I said, just because of the nature of the investigation, we got to make sure that we are super thorough, okay? So I got a little bit of the story as to what your involvement was, but I'm not clear on a lot of things, and I'm just trying to do the best job that I can do. So hopefully you can
ask any question you would like.
Perfect, man. Thank you very much. First and foremost, you're how old?
I'm 18.
Okay. Like I said, you're not under arrest right now. If you think that I'm being an asshole or something like that, you can get a walk out. There are some questions I've been asked that you probably be thinking like, what the fuck are you asking that for? But there's a reason, okay? And I'll explain it, all right? Okay. And like I said, if you have any questions or if you need to clarify anything that I'm saying, because I want to make sure that we are completely clear on what's being said and how it's being said. So if you need any clarification whatsoever, please let me know. Okay. All right. Detective Nelson's here as well. He might have some questions as well. But like I said, right now, as far as we know, you're the only person that saw her alive, or the last person that saw her alive. Okay. Okay. So she's texting you. Did she text you first, or sorry? When I say text, Snapchat. Did she snap you first?
I was just saying Snapchat, so I could be specific.
Okay. Yeah. No, I appreciate that.
I honestly don't remember who texted first.
Okay. Okay, that's okay. And what did she say? Do you remember kind of how the conversation went? Was it? And what I'm getting at is, I mean, are you guys in any type of dating relationship at all?
No.
No. Okay. So it wasn't like, hey, let's go hang out and go party.
No.
Okay. All right. Nothing like that. And so you're heading up to Angel Park, and now when you say you picked her up at Angel Park, I assume drive time from Silver to Angel roughly 5-10 minutes.
Probably 5 max. There wasn't bad traffic that day.
Okay. Okay. So meet her, and now when you say you picked her up at Angel Park, was that at Angel Park?
Yeah, right in the. When I pulled off by the Family Dollar, I don't know the name of that road. She was standing right in the middle of the parking lot on the phone.
At Angel Park?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So she's in the parking lot on the phone?
Yeah.
Okay. So you picked her up, and what were you driving at that time?
It was my 93 Chevy Silverado.
93 Chevy Silverado?
Yeah.
Okay. What color is that?
I'm slightly rough on the color, but I'm pretty sure it's like really dark blue, but it looks black.
Okay, all right, so dark in color.
Yeah.
All right, okay. Did she say anything about anyone that she was having problems with, or any people that she was interested in, or anything like that?
We all knew she was talking to some guy that we think was in New York, but I mean, she was talking to him for a while.
Okay.
Besides that, and then, like I told everyone else, a lot of people had problems with Britney, but nothing that we would see with this outcome.
Sure. Well, hopefully, yeah, okay. Then now's not the time to hold back words, man. Did she have a bad reputation or something like that?
With a lot, because she's getting a lot of fights, and a lot of people didn't like. Britney was a very straightforward person.
Okay.
And a lot of people didn't like that because she was very blunt and honest.
Okay.
So a lot of people disliked her.
They just didn't like how forward she was, and she really didn't hold back, basically.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Primarily females, or male and female?
Male and female. We went through, kind of like the full circle, went through over by the sports complex in Spring Creek. And then I had to go back home to my dad's house, so I asked her if she wanted me to drop her off back at Angel Park or where her dad was having practice. and then she was on her phone for about 30 seconds-ish, and then asked me if she dropped her off at the high school to meet her new friend.
Did she give any indication, I'm sorry, of who she may have been talking to or anything like that?
No, she just described a new friend, but also, same thing, Brittany was always finding new friends. I mean, she had a new best friend probably about every month or so.
Okay. Kind of explain to me, did you drop her off, like, right next to his ride, or how did that go down?
I dropped her off right here, because I didn't know, I just pulled up to the high school, because I didn't know where I was going. And then, so I got right here, and then she grabbed her keys, gave me a hug, said, "Love you, bye," and then got out of the truck, and then, so I pulled it in reverse, started pulling it this way, and then she walked over to that F-150, and then by the time I gotten back out, and onto the highway, the F-150 was pulling out.
All right, so you basically made a loop then, essentially?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, and then heading back out towards Maverick. Okay, and so you see the green F-150?
Yeah.
No doubt in your mind F-150?
Yeah, no, I know exactly what truck it is, because, to be bluntly, they're ugly as hell. There's only one truck like that, because they have like bubble shape to them almost.
Okay, okay.
Was there any other trucks parked over there or any other vehicles?
There was a few, but there was a softball, baseball, and FFA going that weekend.
So it's busy.
Did you actually see her get into the truck, or you just seen the truck leaving after you left?
Well, I saw, because I got right about here, and then cut straight across the parking lot. Saw her over at the F-150, back with someone, that was it.
So, and again, I'm just asking for clarification, because the deputies told me that initially when they spoke with you, you had provided a description of someone that may have been the driver of that truck?
They kept saying I gave a description, but literally the only thing I saw was a cowboy hat. That was it.
Okay, so you couldn't tell if he was tall, short, fat, skinny, anything like that?
The hat looked towards the top of the cab, so I said that, and they took it as tall. I'm like, that's why I kind of, after that last officer, not in a bad way, but I kind of just stopped saying stuff because it kept getting twisted around, and I kept hearing different versions of what I said.
Well, that's why I want clarification. Yeah, that's why I just want to make sure.
No, but all I saw was a cowboy hat, and that was the only identifying mark that I could make.
Okay, so he wasn't outside the truck?
No, he got, when I was over here, they were both standing outside the truck, but then by the time I got right in front of the high school on the highway, the truck was moving through the parking lot.
What was she wearing?
She was wearing, like, I don't know how else to describe it besides, like, heavy bell bottoms. They're like leggings but bell bottoms.
So they're elastic, but they're
Yes.
bell bottoms on the bottom? Okay.
They were, like, really fluorescent, like, tie-dye colored.
Oh, they're very loud, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then she was wearing a gray sweatshirt, a zip-up.
Okay. Did you see the shirt on underneath it?
No.
No. Did she have anything in her hair, or wearing a hat, or anything?
No, she had a lot of makeup over her eyes, but she always wears a decent amount of makeup.
Okay. And then she had her phone at that time too, right?
Yeah, all she had, at least that I didn't notice anything else besides her keys and her phone.
Okay, did the keys have anything on them?
It had a lanyard, but I think it was just the senior 2020 lanyard.
The high school lanyard?
Yeah, they all kind of look the same, like the gray, purple color.
Is your truck a single cab?
Yeah, it's a single cab.
What about the F-150 that she got into?
It looked, I didn't notice any windows in the back, so I assumed it was just a single cab, but I couldn't tell if it was a crew cab or not.
Because when you pulled into the parking lot, it was facing you, and you weren't paying attention to it, right?
Yeah, it was parked straight towards the high school, so I came up right behind it.
Okay.
But I mean, they're still good, probably 40 feet between where I was driving and where he was parked.
Okay.
Did you notice on the bed if it was a step side?
Yeah, that's where one of the details that doesn't get mixed up a lot is that's why I recognized what type of truck it was, because it had the step side right in between the bed and the cab.
No doubt on that then?
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
And was there anything else on the truck that stuck out?
I saw a sticker in the back window, but I couldn't tell you exactly what it was.
Okay.
Do you remember where on the back window?
I remember it was on the bottom, but I don't know if it was straight on the left corner, but it was towards the left side of the truck. Because I didn't see the right side of it at all.
Okay, all right. Anything else you can think of about the truck that might specific or help narrow it down?
I swore that I saw a toolbox, but I can't be 100% on that.
Sure, understood. Okay.
Because I had gotten a text from her friend Cheyenne, probably about like half an hour after I dropped her off, that she couldn't get a hold of her, but I didn't really take any concern until my brother started texting me. Yeah, James didn't text me until about 8:16.
At night?
Yeah.
Okay.
He texted me about then, and then asked for my phone number around 8:30, and then that's when I got a call from one of the deputies.
Oh, I see. Okay, so that's how they got a hold of you?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I called my friends, tried to see if anyone knew where she was. I tried calling Brittany. I texted her brother James. Was trying to see if I could get hold of anyone that knew anything. My friend came and grabbed me, and then we were trying to organize like search parties and stuff because, like, Brittany going and doing stuff isn't oddball, but Brittany is the person that like will always text her dad.
Oh, okay.
So when she didn't, we got really worried.
Gotcha.
So we went out looking till probably about 2 o'clock, and we all went home.
Gotcha. Okay. Man, you put in some effort.
Yeah, no, we were out there for probably about 6 hours.
Yeah. Okay.
She didn't leave nothing inside your truck or nothing like that?
Nothing that I found.
Have you guys ever been into an intimate relationship?
No.
No? Nothing besides hugging and just no kissing or no friends with benefits or nothing like that?
No.
So one of the things that we like to do just to be thorough, man, to make sure that, like I said, we cross all the T's, dot all the I's. Is there any reason whatsoever, because obviously in these situations they go full bore, right? Is there any reason whatsoever that they would find your DNA on her or in her?
No, nothing. Just besides maybe like this bag of hair or something on her jacket, there would be nothing else.
So no sexual relationship whatsoever?
No.
Okay, okay. Is there anything on your phone that you would be concerned with us finding?
No.
No, okay. Do you have any problem if we take a look at your phone just to make sure that we're good to go?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Was there anybody in specific in the school itself that she continually told no that may have been frustrated with that?
From what I've been told, because she said she hangs out with a lot of people, but from what I've been told by a lot of people is that she still has yet to have sexual intercourse with anyone.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow, okay. Well, that's
Is what I've been told.
Yeah.
Okay. So she's not a girl that's considered easy in high school, and she told somebody no and they got frustrated because they were told no. Right?
She's easy to be friends with, but not to date. No, she's.
Okay. Would you be willing to submit
Thank you.
a buckle swab just for your DNA?
What's a buckle swab?
So it's essentially just 2 Q-tips. You can do it yourself. They're a Q-tip about as long as this pin. You rub it on the inside of your cheek, and then you take the other one, rub the inside of the other cheek. We put it in a box. That way, we have your DNA. It's suspected. Correct me if I'm wrong, but there was some kind of sexual activity. What they're suspecting.
Okay.
Not saying that you were that person, and you have no reason
No,
to
I
have your
understand.
DNA in there. But you're the last person that we know of that was with her when she was alive.
Yeah.
Basically for you, it'd almost be like an elimination, you know, kind of like, hey, this isn't our deal.
No, I have no problem.
Okay, man. Be right back with you, all right?
All right.
All right.
Bryce is brought in for one more interview.
Just had to sit down here real quick. Can I get you anything?
Oh, no, I'm okay.
All right, I'll be right back. We'll go over this with you. Just so you know, everything in this room is recorded and everything like that, so. Well, tell me about Brittany. What's she like?
You're gonna have to ask a question because that's a lot. Brittany is not in like a bad way or anything, but I mean,
Right. Well, what's Brittany to you?
honestly, Brittany was my little sis. Like I've known her since 7th or 8th grade. One of the closest people to me. I didn't even start calling her. I called her little sis for about the last 2.5, 3 years, but she called me big brother since probably about the right after the first year that I met her. But one of the closest people to me. She was. A lot of people didn't like her for a lot of reasons, but she was very blunt and kept to who she was, even if a lot of people didn't like that. So that's why a lot of people didn't like her, because she was extremely honest. No, she was always happy. She would get in a lot of like actual fights, but then a month later she would be best friends with the person she had to fight with. She knew almost everyone. It seemed like there wasn't somebody in this town she didn't know. But she was extremely sweet. Pretty much always had a smile on her face. I haven't met anybody that's actually like had intentions to hurt Brittany.
One other question. If you could say something to Brittany, what would you say?
Easy. I love you. That'd be the first thing I would say.
What about the second?
No, I'm sorry. Because I kind of let myself rose. Even though, well,
About yourself.
I mean, I know that I didn't know what was going to happen, but I mean, I'm the last one that freaking saw her before she's dead. And I mean, her mom even made me promise that I would blame myself, but kind of still have a lot of regrets and all that stuff I wish I would have done differently that day. Because I wish I would have just taken her back to town to her dad. But told her when we got the release was the first time I saw her after it all happened, but I saw her and then we hugged and I said I was sorry and kind of both broke down, and then she made me promise that I wouldn't blame myself, stuff like that, and then the whole family kind of hugged me and just told me that I meant a lot to Brittany and stuff like that, so.
No, just out of curiosity, and we promise we won't tell your girlfriend. Had you ever been intimate?
I got that question the last 2 times. Brittany and I have never been intimate in any way. I mean, like, a lot of people get the wrong intentions because, I mean, it was all my friends, but, like, calling my female friends love and stuff like that, but that's just kind of the way I was raised in a sense, grammar-wise, but Brittany and I have never had a relationship or have been intimate in any way. That's why my girlfriend was comfortable with hers, because she never flirted with me or anything like that.
Did you ever want to be?
No,
Never.
No, I never had that want or urge or anything. I literally saw Brittany as my little sister.
And is there any way that your DNA could be associated with this case in any way?
No.
No. Okay. Well, I'm kind of confused about a couple things. So round one, you pick her up at Angel Park, and then you come into Boyd Kennedy Road entrance to the school at about what time again?
Around 4:30.
About 4:30. Okay. So we got some surveillance footage from Angel Park. This is the camera, and I know, forgive me for the blurry photo a little bit because we figured it out. But down here is the time, and that was 15:20? Yep.
I don't know what time it is.
3:20.
Oh, okay.
2 hours military time.
Okay.
2 hours after you said. Yeah, so it's a little bit later than what you said, so I'm just kind of confused, and I want to clear that up with you a little bit. Because that's her walking across the street. And is that your truck?
Yeah, that looks like my truck.
And there's another picture.
Yeah, no, that's my truck.
That's your truck?
Yeah.
Okay. So that shows about 15:20.
I might be on off my timestamp. The only timestamp that I personally have is on my phone. What time I called her when I got on her. So that's 2 hours. Literally the entire time I was with her, I was not on my phone.
Do you see where?
I didn't see where they'd be
This is
concerned. I understand that, sir.
And the other thing I'm just kind of confused about, and like I said, I just want to clear this up with you. That's all. This is some footage from Maverick across the street. So this is some surveillance footage from the front of the store showing Boyd Kennedy Road. Okay. So if you look right here, you can see, so right over here, yeah, right there. Oh, that's your truck right there. About.
Is it smushed together since it's so far away?
Yeah.
I think so. Because I have a long day. That's all I know.
Yeah. So this is the Boyd Kennedy Road right here. That's your truck.
Yeah.
That's your truck going down Boyd Kennedy Road.
Entrance to the middle school and stuff is right here. That goes into the parking lot, and then there's the wrestling gym, which is right there, and then it cuts right and goes right to the middle school. Okay. So that's why I went through.
That's not what you said.
No, I said I went through the Boyd entrance. I didn't.
Across from Maverick.
Yeah.
What if I told you we had surveillance footage that appears your truck kept going out Boyd Kennedy Road?
I didn't put on Boyd Kennedy Road.
I just want to kind of clear everything up and get your explanation for this, okay? Because you seem like a decent guy. We've been sitting here chatting and stuff like that, okay? And I just want to kind of help you through this, so that way we can kind of explain this stuff.
Okay.
Okay. So with these, you can kind of see from my perspective when I'm looking at this what that looks like, right?
Yeah. No, I can see 100%.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I got startled after the third cop I talked to, the one that called me down to the high school, because called me a liar about 3 times and kept asking me if I killed Britney. So
Somebody asked you if you killed Britney?
A deputy did.
Okay.
And it honestly startled the shit out of me. And I don't want to. I know I've only been 18 for a little bit now, but I know I'm 18 now, so even changing a little bit on a story isn't a big thing.
Well, it is what it is. Okay, that's why I'm trying to sort through it. Okay.
Yeah. So when he had talked to me, and I went down Boyd a little bit, but not far, and then I took that first left off of the Boyd Kennedy, which goes straight back to the right to the bottom of the trailer section, and then went back to the high school, but being at Boyd Kennedy at the same time, which I'm missing. It worried me because I didn't want to. So I lied because I was scared of people thinking it was going to be me, which a lot of people.
Well, that's understandable. You're the last person to see her alive.
Yeah, which honestly scares me, but I see that there's issues with me telling people.
You need to be 100% honest. You need to let everything out. So when you said you took that first left on Boyd Kennedy, was Britney in the car with you at that time?
Yeah, she was.
Okay.
I kind of have like a set little thing of loops that I do when I get bored driving around Spring Creek. So, and that's one of the ones that I do a lot. And but being so close to being on Boyd Kennedy, and as soon as people were saying that's where she went missing, I kind of got scared.
I have one other concern.
Okay.
Okay. We located some items, or an item. Okay. Do you have any idea what that item might be?
No.
Okay. What if I told you that it had both yours and Britney's DNA on it?
What would that be?
Do you have any idea?
No.
Now's the time to be truthful.
I'm being 100% sir. I don't know what you're referring to.
And you told me before that you and Britney had never been intimate in a sexual way.
No.
Okay. What if I said I had evidence that shows that might not be accurate either?
I'm not lying. I've never kissed. I've never had sex with Britney. Besides hugging and I've never had sex or any intimate relationship with Britney.
Okay. Have you ever watched TV and seen DNA comparisons?
No, I mean, I've watched crime shows, but haven't really paid attention to it.
So, you gave a DNA sample, right?
Yes.
Okay. We found a condom. All right. And we found Britney. And we have Britney's DNA, we have your DNA, and we have a condom.
That can't be.
It is.
I've never had sex with Britney, I swear. I've never had sex with Britney.
Okay. So then explain to me how...
I don't know. I'm freaking out right now because I've never had sex with Britney.
Okay.
I've never had
explain
sex.
to me how a condom has your DNA on the inside and her DNA on the outside. Because that doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't make sense.
And you can understand my concerns that, you know, I've been truthful with you, okay? And I know this is really stressful, okay? I can't imagine where you're at, all right? But we'll get through this together, okay? And I need you to help me help you, all right? And the biggest concern I have is you can see that we have some footage that kind of contradicts what you said.
Yes, sir.
We've got a condom that was recovered near Britney's body, and it has DNA on it with both you and Britney, okay? And you told me that you guys have never been intimate, all right? There's only one way that DNA could have gotten on that condom that way.
I'm aware of that.
And you have a pattern now of lying. You were deceptive to Detective Fisher because you got scared. You just admitted that.
I admitted I was
And
scared.
your timeline doesn't match up. The other people we've talked to, their stories don't match with yours.
Maybe they don't match with mine. Am I allowed to ask that?
No,
No,
absolutely.
you can ask.
Yeah, there's just some issues with the time, okay, and things like that. But the thing I'm concerned about right now is if you were in my perspective and you looked at all this, what would you think?
That I did it to Britney.
Okay. If you were me, okay, how would you explain the condom? If you were me looking at that as a detective, what would you make of it? Okay?
Exactly what you guys are thinking right now.
Okay, because here's the thing. If I don't know what happened, I can't help you out any more past this point. I can't help you figure out the truth. Tell me the truth. Okay? We need to get through this together. And I need to hear from you what happened.
Okay.
Okay?
Wait, can I ask a question?
Yes, go
Are
ahead.
you guys trying to get a confession of him killing Britney?
I'm trying to figure out how your DNA got on a condom on the inside that has her DNA on the outside. I need to figure out what happened with that condom.
Our job is to work as hard to prove innocence as it is guilt. If you didn't do this, we'll work to the end of the earth to prove that you didn't do this. But that requires 100% honesty on your end, because the stuff we have indicates that it hasn't been there.
And that's my concern. Is we've got these.
There's a lot of faults in it, and I'm aware. It was extremely odd. Britney was being, literally the only time, Britney was being really flirty for some reason throughout that day. So we kissed, and I had gotten a blowjob that was through a condom, but then after I was done, she was the one who took the condom and then thought she threw it out of the truck, and then that's...
Where did that happen at?
That first road all the way down Boyd.
So,
not all the way down Boyd. I thought she just threw it out the window because she was the one who pulled it off, and then, because I had thrown the wrapper and stuff out this driver window, so I thought she just threw it out the passenger side window.
So where were you seated in the vehicle while she was giving you the blowjob?
From the driver's seat.
Okay, and where was she at in the vehicle when she was giving you the blowjob?
Kind of like bent over the bench seat, in a sense, like kind of just leaning over.
Okay. And that happened about right here?
Yeah.
When I was at the scene with Britney, I found a condom, or one of our people found a condom that was near where Britney was at. And there was also a condom wrapper that was on the roadway as well.
Okay.
And that condom that I told you about was much closer to where Britney was found. And this is not where Britney was found. Okay, I just told you I just want the truth.
No, I'm telling the truth. That's where it happened.
Where what happened?
Where Britney and I had, I don't know, does that count as sex? I think
Sexual act.
It's a sexual act. So that is where Britney and I had sex.
Okay.
And then straight after, I went straight to the trailer section, and that was it.
Okay. Did you ever have any sort of intercourse, oral or otherwise, anywhere else with Britney?
Just the blowjob. That was besides like 2, maybe 3 kisses, and that was about it. Honestly,
Okay.
there wasn't much. It was almost didn't seem real in a sense because she literally just asked if I wanted a blowjob. It did not quite seem real, almost.
Okay. So everything we just talked about, if you were me, what would you think about all that?
I think you guys already know what I think you would think.
And what is that?
That I'm lying about everything. I mean, I'm smart enough to know that's what you guys are thinking.
No, I think you're very smart. From the position I sit in, okay, like I said, there's only that one chance that you have with me to tell me the truth. Because so far, you haven't told me the truth. And I think we both know that.
Sure.
Okay? And the thing I'm concerned about is that everything you've told me just does not add up. Okay? And I think you're very smart. You know that. Okay? So, help me figure out what the truth is. But I need to hear that from you.
So the Angel Park timeline, that I didn't actually realize that I had messed up the timeline at that one. I'm being 100% on. Cruise driving for a little while longer, and her texting her friend actually did happen, and she asked me to drop her off with somebody, but I don't know who it was. And he actually had met us on Boyd, and I didn't actually meet the guy or anything, but because he met us up here.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know where, somewhere over here is where Britney and I actually had sex. I literally dropped her off with the guy literally in the middle of the road and drove off. And
it's okay, we'll get through this together, okay? You and I will get through this together, all right? So just take a second and tell me the truth, okay?
everything that I've told, except mess ups on the timeline, is true. That was the exact same truck that I saw. I honestly couldn't tell you how the gun was that close to Britney's body. I don't know how that happened, because Britney was still alive by the time I dropped her off on the road with whoever the guy was. I just wasn't thinking at all. And I dropped her off and I really just drove off. I understand that. I know what you're going to say.
What am I going to say?
That you have to know, which you do have to know. But I'm telling you that I literally had never met this guy.
Okay.
Which Britney gets new friends every month, and I didn't really think much of it.
you've told us several different versions, okay?
Yes, sir.
Do you really expect me to believe that you met a guy after you guys had had sex, and you just dropped Britney off with him, and you don't know who that was? You're a smart guy. I'm a smart guy. Okay.
I've met him, but I honestly don't know who he is.
So I need you to be honest with me. When we started out today, I just wanted the truth from you, okay? And then the story changed. The story's changed again. The story's changed again. Okay? I need to get the whole truth, because once that line crosses, we can't go back. And I can't get that truth from you.
Didn't even know the kid was back in town. It was the Chaz Randall kid is the one who picked her up. Which I didn't even know he was back in town. So I swear it was Chaz Randall, because that kid's kind of distinguishable. But
So you're telling me Chaz Randall met you on the road? I told you.
what?
And you've known that Chaz Randall killed Britney all this time, and you're
didn't.
just waiting to say something? Do you let yourself
Because
be the
I
last
don't
person
know.
to see her alive? You expect us to believe that I'm like, I was the last person to see her alive. I put myself in that position, and I'm going to sit here for a week and a half letting everybody think I was the last one to see her alive when I know who the last person to see her alive is. You think we're going to believe that? You're smarter than that.
Listen, okay? This is, we can't keep coming up with different stories, okay? Because with what you just said, okay, as investigators, we're gonna figure out about Chaz,
Yeah,
okay? And if that's not accurate, where would we end up?
back to me.
Back to you. You have told a whole bunch of cops, a whole bunch of different stories.
I have not told a bunch of
I'm asking
different
you
stories.
You need to trust me. I want you to trust me, okay?
Okay.
I need to hear the truth. The truth.
I know I'm kind of losing your guys' trust by the second here. Let's just be honest about that. Am I correct? Am I correct? I'm not meaning to stretch on. I'm just asking. But I had sex with Britney, and then got done having sex, and then it got really quiet in the truck. It was really awkward, and I think we were both kind of like regretting it in some sort. And she literally just told me to just drop her off, and I didn't know where to drop her off, and she wouldn't tell me anything. And then we got right to the top of the trailer section, right to the houses, and then right up there, and then I said something that pissed her off, and she literally just hopped out of the truck when I was at a stop sign. I was freaking out because I felt like I'd ruined a complete friendship over one dumb oral interaction, and then she didn't want to get back in my truck, and so we just sat there literally at a stop sign right off the where it turns back to pavement in the trailer section, just sat there talking, and then I had told her that I would drop her off somewhere, and I had gotten up there and tried to give her a hug, and she didn't want one, and I was fine with that. I understood. Then we got back in the truck, but then I just kept it in park because I didn't know where the hell I was going, and sat there and both just had steam pouring out of our ears because we were both upset. She just asked me to drop her off at her friend's house in the trailer section. I went down the side of the trailer section from the corner. I pulled up and then asked her again if she just didn't want me to just take her back to Elko, and she said no, it was fine. And then she had told one of her friends, I just don't know who it was. I dropped her off in the trailer section, and I drove off pissed off went home, and then sat there, and then when I went back over to my mom's and I got text messages that she was missing and shit, and it freaked me the fuck out because last time I saw Britney, I was flustered and angry.
I don't like it.
What?
Listen, okay?
You guys are just looking for a confession.
Listen,
No,
okay?
I'm looking for the facts to match up.
What facts don't match up right now?
Okay, I think you know.
I'm lost.
Do you think we've been doing nothing for the last week?
No, I think you guys have been working your asses off.
We talked to a ton of people. Your name has come up a lot. And the conversations they've had with you, that your stories to us don't match.
And I don't know how that is, because literally everything I told you guys is what I told everyone.
This is what we're gonna do, okay? We're gonna step out of this room one last time, okay? When I step back in here, I need you to tell me the truth, okay?
So you're still expecting us to believe that you drop her off and her body miraculously appeared where the condom and condom record were by some strange coincidence.
I did not kill Britney, but imagine being in my position trying to explain this.
Well, we're trying to figure out how she ended up dead. Realize she disappeared on the 8th. You've been sitting on this knowledge without saying anything to anybody?
Because I've had the entire town of Spring Creek asking me if I've killed Britney.
And you might as well have if you didn't say anything.
So this is the story that you're gonna stick with,
Yes, sir.
okay? Go ahead, stand up and please stand up. Separate your feet and put your hands behind your back.
The switch flips from interview to custody. On March 19, 2020, Bryce Dickey is arrested and charged. Bryce's arrest ends the interrogation spiral, but it doesn't end the case. Because in the weeks that follow, investigators keep digging, locking the timeline down with the kind of evidence that doesn't rely on anyone's memory or excuses. Search warrants come back on social media accounts, and what they find strengthens the case. Snapchat memories showing Britney and Bryce together after he claimed he had already dropped her off. And location data places them within a short distance of where Britney was later found. It's the same pattern again. When stories wobble, data doesn't. 2 years after Britney was killed, the case finally reaches the moment the family has been living toward: trial. For Britney's father, Jim, it isn't just a court proceeding, it's a painful ritual, showing up day after day to face the details he never wanted to know, but feels he owes his daughter. He attends every day determined to bear witness and to see justice pursued to the end. Witnesses testify about what they knew. Friends talk about the dynamics they saw, about Britney rejecting Bryce after he admitted feelings for her, and other testimony adds context about Bryce's behavior in relationships. And alongside testimony, the case is supported by digital evidence, photos, location information, and investigative findings that help jurors understand the timeline beyond anyone's words. After a 9-day trial, the jury begins deliberations, and in less than 4 hours, they return with a decision. Bryce Dickey is found guilty of first-degree murder and sexual assault. He is sentenced to life in prison, with the possibility of parole only after 46 years. It's a legal ending, but it's not a life ending anyone can move on from, because a conviction can answer the who, but it can't fix the why. For Britney's family, the guilty verdict doesn't bring Britney back. It doesn't rewind March 8th. It doesn't return the future they pictured for her. But it does something else. It names what happened. It rejects the lies. And it makes it harder for the truth to be buried. Britney's brother James later says that everything he's done since she died has been for her, that the world lost an incredible soul. And if this case leaves anything behind, beyond grief, it's this. In the first hours, people clung to a story about a stranger in a green truck, but the real danger wasn't a mystery face in the distance. It was the person close enough to be trusted. And in the end, what solved this case wasn't one dramatic clue. It was the slow, relentless stacking of truth. Timelines, footage, records, and facts that didn't bend when someone tried to bend the story. Justice can be delayed. It can be imperfect. But when it finally arrives, it matters. Because it's the only thing that says, out loud, what the family has been screaming inside since day one. Britney mattered.